I just realized as I'm thinking on having to leave my home and walk to where I want to get to today. And I think about what is it that's really stopping me, because over and over and over again, I've made it. I make it. Over and over, I make it. So why is it? What is really blocking me from going out and doing the things that I want to more often? And it's because in the past, in doing things that I didn't want to do, and sometimes things that I was driven to do for a purpose that I didn't really want, I fainted a lot. I fainted. Not quite totally losing consciousness, but just absolutely fainting, all but unconscious. And fear of the danger that I have had to walk past every time I leave. There's something dangerous. And I sit here and I think about the two lepers that weren't allowed in the city, but the city became under siege, and it was the Israelites, I believe. It was God's people. It was the Hebrews. Were trapped, and they started to run out of food. They started eating. I won't go into it, but the enemy had a camp nearby, and every time, they just couldn't leave. So these two lepers were sitting at the gate. I guess it was a wall around the wall of the city, and so they were there, and they were just sitting there dying. Nobody could help them, let alone would, even if they could. So they, amongst themselves, said, well, if we go in there, there's nothing but death. If we stay here, there's nothing but death. And it's a possibility of death if we go out, but here it's guaranteed. And so they went out, and they found that the enemy had been addressed in a mighty way by our good God, who makes a way. And they had heard the sound of a lot of chariots and a lot of men shouting, battle cries. And they ran away. They just up and booked it. They were so afraid. And so they left everything. So these two lepers they went into one tent, and they ate and they ate, and they found treasure, and they found money, and they took the money out and they hid it. And then they went back to another tent, and they found more food and more treasure, and they thought about, or they did hide it and went a third time, or, it may have been twice, it may have been three times. Regardless, wasn't long before they just kind of sat there and said, this isn't a good thing. We have our people, and they are dying, and we haven't told them the good news. And so they did. They went and told the kingdom that was under siege, hey, they're gone. They're gone. And they left everything, and let's go eat, and there's plenty for everyone. And what good news they got to tell, because they looked at death, and they looked at the possibility of death, and they were dying already. And they went out on hope, on survival, on courage, on possibilities, on a desire to not be dead. Isn't that what we all want? We all just don't want to die. And that's a good thing. That's something that God put in us.